Unit 1 session. Okay, so at the end of this recording, I will give you your quiz code so that you can go ahead and take your first quiz. So stay tuned until the end. This video will not be very long. The first question that we are going to go over is how to rewrite subtraction problems as addition problems. Now this is a very simple process. You just have to be extra careful with where you're putting your plus sign. Okay, so your plus sign is going to go, your plus sign is going to go immediately to the left of your subtraction sign. So here's my subtraction sign, right? I'm going to put my plus sign to the left of it. So right after this 3 and right before this plus sign. So right in between here. Everything else is going to stay the same. So I'm going to have 3 plus 8 minus 5. Okay. Same thing with down here. I have my negative 8.97 and then I have my subtraction sign. So my plus sign is going to go in between my first number and my subtraction sign. So right in here. So I have negative 8.97 plus negative 6.13. Alright, next question. So now we're going to be taking these number lines and writing equations that represent them. Okay, so whenever you have a number line, the first arrow that starts at 0, this is always going to be your first number. So whichever number starts at 0, that's the one you want to write first. Okay, so this blue arrow here goes from 0 to 1/7. So my first number would just be 1/7. And then I'm going to put a plus sign. And now this red arrow, I have to count how many times it moves backwards. So notice it's starting over here and it's going to go backwards 1, 2, 3 times. So it's going backwards 3 times, but notice that my number line is going by 1/7. So this would be negative 1/7, negative 2/7, negative 3/7. Okay, and then the very last part we have to do is write what it equals. So wherever your dot lands, or wherever the end of your second arrow stops, that is going to be what your equation equals. So if I follow this arrow down to my number line, it ends here at negative 2/7. So that would be my equation. Let's try it one more time, and this time we have a different number line. It's a vertical number line, which is something that we don't see very often, but we will see it a few times in the course. So remember, your first number is always where your 0 is. So my 0 is here, which means this blue arrow represents my first number. So I'm going to go from 0 and I'm going all the way up here to 2.5. So 2.5 is going to be my first number. Then from this 2.5, I'm going down. Okay, so that means I'm going to have a negative because my arrow is going down. Let's count how many times it goes down. Keep in mind that my number line is going by 0.5, so each time I move down, I should be counting by 1/2. Okay, so I have 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. So I moved down a total of 3 units. And then remember that wherever your red dot is on your number line, or where the second arrow ends, that is going to be what your equation equals. So here it ends at negative 0.5. So that is what my equation will equal. Alrighty, now with these questions, you can absolutely do these by hand and find your common denominator. However, I want to show you guys this online calculator that you will see me use all of the time. Okay, so this is Desmos, desmos.com/scientific. This calculator is super helpful, especially when you're doing problems when you're adding or subtracting with fractions or decimals or anything like that. Okay, and we are going to type in this into our calculator to get our answer. Now, since you guys are online, I recommend using a calculator to double check your work or to help you do these problems a bit faster. For me, you can use a calculator on anything. I highly encourage it. You will see me use this calculator all throughout the year. So for our negative sign, because there's that negative, I'm going to do a minus. I'm going to hit this button here, this A over B, which is going to give me that fraction, so I can type in 1/2. Now this next step is very, very important. You need to make sure that you either click in front of your fraction to move your cursor up or use your right arrow key. Then we are going to do plus, my fraction again, and 4/5. Now notice how it gives us a decimal answer. That's okay, right? If I hit this button on the side that says convert to fraction, it will turn it into a fraction for me. So this tells me that when I add -1/2 plus 4/5, I will get 3/10. So let's try it again with this second one. Okay, I'm going to clear this. Now again, I have a -3/4, so I'm going to do -3/4. I'm going to click in front of my fraction to move that cursor from my denominator to in front of it. And then I'm going to do -9/10. And then I have this -1.65, so I'm going to convert this to a fraction, and it tells me that it is -33/20. Okay, so this is also very helpful because it will help keep your positives and minuses, your minus signs, straight, right? You won't make a silly mistake because you throw out a minus on a number, because the calculator is kind of your double check for that. But you just make sure that whatever you see here, so I have a negative and a negative, is exactly what it looks like when you're typing it in. So this is -33/20. Alright, next question. Mariana went running and had 1/6 of a bottle of water left when she stopped to rest. She went to a water fountain and filled it until it was 2/3 full. How much water, as a fraction of a bottle, did Mariana put in her water bottle at the fountain? For these type of problems, I always suggest drawing a picture. Visualize what is happening. So, whoops, let me try again. I'm going to try my best to draw a water bottle. Okay, now it said that she had 1/6 of a water bottle left, so I'm going to split this up into 6 sections here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this red section at the bottom, this is how much water she had left. Then, when she was at this water fountain, she filled it until it was 2/3 full. So if she's filling it until it's 2/3 full, I'm going to take 2/3 and make it to where I have a common denominator so I can use these 6 separate sections. So to go from 3 to 6, I would multiply by 2. So I'm going to do the same thing up top. So I have 4/6. So she filled it until 4 out of 6 of these sections were full. So she already has one section down here, so I need to do 2, 3, and 4. So these 3 sections is how much she filled. So we want to know how much water did Mariana actually fill in her water bottle. Well, if we look at these 3 sections here, right, 1, 2, 3 are blue. 3 out of those 6 total sections were filled up. So 3 out of 6, or this will reduce to 1/2. So she filled up 1/2 of her water bottle, or 3/6. And again, for these ones, I always suggest drawing a picture. Okay, drawing a picture is very helpful. It helps you visualize what is going on much better. Okay. Last question here. Sterling works at a bakery, and in the morning he baked 3.5 batches of cookies. He sold some of the cookies and had 1.5 batches of cookies left when the bakery closed at night. The following number line represents this situation. So we want to know, how many batches did Sterling sell? Well, in the morning, let's figure out how much he started with. So let's go from his start, and then let's figure out how much he ended his day with. And then in here in the middle, this is going to be how many he sold, but we don't know that yet. Okay, so he started with 3½ batches, and he ended his day with 1½ batches. So we need to figure out this number in the center here, which would be how many batches he sold to end up with this 1½. All we have to really do here is do some subtraction. Now, if you're looking at this and thinking, oh my goodness, mixed fractions, I'm not a fan of those, we can type these into Desmos too. Okay, the way we type these in is a little bit different. So I have 3½ so I'm going to do 3 space, and then I'm going to type in 1/2. Okay, remember, make sure your cursor is in front. Then I'm going to subtract 1. I'm going to do a space and 1/2. Okay, so make sure that your fractions look exactly on your problem like they do in your calculator. And when I subtract these, I get 2. So that means that Sterling sold 2 batches of cookies. So he sold 2 batches. So 2 would be our final answer. Okay, so quiz code for your first one is going to be pumpkin. It is case sensitive, so make sure you type it in all lowercase, please. Okay, so type in pumpkin, all lowercase. If you have questions or would like some extra help, please let me know. Other than that, have a wonderful rest of your day.